I'm good.
Good. All right, I'm hearing we're good. So for this one, to write the equation of a circle in general form, let's not talk about standard form yet. Let's think about general form, where it's the x minus the center squared plus the y minus the center squared equals the radius squared. We need the center and we need the radius. So if you sketch a picture of the circle I gave you, we know the center is at -7, 9. But we don't know the radius. But what information did I give you?
The point it goes through.
Okay, good. Thank you. So it goes through this point up here. So we do know that it passes through -9, 16. So I need to find the radius in order to write this equation because we need the center and the radius. So how could I find the radius of this circle?
Plug the numbers into the equation.
Like the point it goes through?
Yeah, like the general form of a circle equation.
So I am going to show you what he just said. I'm not going to do it that way because I think there's an easier way. But what he's saying is your general form of a circle, extra credit, good job, because that'll work too. He's saying you can plug in the x point that it passes through for x, and then the x value for the center. So just watch. I'm going to show you how you could do it this way in case you do want to do it that way. And then you would just solve that, right, Kev?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So you absolutely could plug in the point it passes through and for x and y in your general form equation. Some of you may think that's easier. So if you like that way, you can do it that way to find the radius. I did it a different way. So what's another way we could find that radius length?
See how far the point it goes through is from the center.
Perfect. So what's it called if I'm seeing how far this point is from the center? What is that called? Starts with a D.
Diameter.
No, diameter is all the way through. I just want from the center to this point, I want how far it goes. It's not a circle word. Who said it?
Distance.
Good, distance. You can find the distance. Use the distance formula. So that's what I did. Now, this way works just as well also. So it really just depends on which way you like better, okay? But I did do the distance formula. So remember your distance formula, because some of you were saying you didn't remember it from Math 1 or you weren't sure that they taught it to you, which is okay. You're going to subtract the x's and then square it. And then you're going to subtract the y's and square it and add those differences together. That'll give you the total distance, okay? So if I do x to -9 minus -7, I'm going to end up getting what? What is -9 minus -7?
-15.
Be careful.
-16.
Be careful. I'm going to write it out for you. I hope that we will see what happens.
-2.
There we go. Good. Remember, if you have minus and negative, that becomes a positive. So this is going to be the square root of -2 squared. And then subtract your y. So I'm going to do 16 minus 9 squared, which is what?
7.
7 squared. Perfect. So then this is going to end up being the square root of 4 plus 49, which is what?
53.
Good. The square root of 53 is my radius. That is the distance from the center to a point on the circle, which means it is the radius.
I have a question about the first thing that you did.
Okay.
Can you explain why the different points are X and Y and H and K?
So HK, by definition of a circle, HK is the center. This is the general form of a circle, and remember the H and the K represent the center. So that's why I put the center there. And then if this is a point it passes through, this is the X value, this is the Y. So if you look at these two equations, does it matter which way you do it?
No.
No, because after you do it the way Kevin showed us, to find R, you'll have to take the square root of these two, which is what we did down here. So either way, you should get the radius is the square root of 53. Do we have any questions about that part? Any questions? Y'all are okay?
Good.
We're good? Okay. So now that we know the radius and now that we know the center, because they gave us the center, can I write the equation in general form? That's where everybody should say yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So general form, we know we have the x's and however it shifts squared plus the y's, however it's shifted squared equals the radius squared, right? So do me a favor, plug in your center points and plug in your radius right here. So does everybody agree that we should get x plus 7 squared?
Yes.
And then y minus 9 squared
Yes.
equals 53?
Yes.
Okay.
So when we put it into the general form, do we just flip the sign?
Yes. So that's why, good question. That's why it says minus here. Remember when we did transformations, anything inside parentheses ends up doing the opposite of what it looks like.
Okay.
Okay, good question. So this is the general form is what he just said. What form did I ask it for?
Standard.
Standard. So how do I put this in standard form? Taking a field trip all the way back to math 1.
You expand it.
Good. Standard form means no parentheses. Everything is multiplied out. And then I put it in order of biggest exponent to smallest, right?
Yeah.
Y'all know that. We talked about the difference between transformation form and standard form back in unit 1. So I need to multiply these out to put it into standard form. So x plus 7 squared is x plus 7 times x plus 7. Y minus 9 squared is y minus 9 times y minus 9. And this should equal 53. So you guys multiply that out at home. Thinking we shouldn't need my help multiplying that out. So I'm gonna move my notebook so you are not watching me multiply. Make sure you foil those. And then once you've foiled, check yours with mine and make sure you've gotten that far. Is everybody okay with that part?
Yup.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now to put it in standard form, biggest exponents go in the front, and then we combine all of our like terms, right? So what is my variable that comes first in the alphabet that has the biggest exponent?
X.
X.
Hey.
X squared, right? Good. What's my next term that I should write?
Y squared.
Good, okay. Y squared.
What?
Biggest exponents go in the front.
Yep. Mhm.
Okay. And then plus 14x, then minus 18y, because those are the next biggest exponents, but x comes before y in the alphabet. And then I need to combine 49, 81, and then what do I do with this 53?
Subtract.
Minus.
Good. You subtract it over also. So it should be set equal to 0. So if I do 49 plus 81, that's 130. And then 130 minus 53 should be 77. Somebody check me.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay? Equals 0. So this would be the equation of that circle in standard form. Just making sure y'all know the difference between standard form and general form. So there are problems on your classwork worksheet today that asked you for it in standard form. So just want to see if you can work both ways.
Miss Poole,
Yeah.
on Delta Math, do we have to put the equal 0?
If it says standard form equation, yes, because an equation has to have an equal sign.
Alrighty.
Yep, good question. But I think your Delta Math one's asked for general form, I think. So general form won't equal 0. General form equals R squared. Are y'all okay with the first example for today? Anybody?
Yeah.
Any questions? Y'all are good?
Yes.
Good.
Perfect. All right. So the second example I want to show y'all today, we're going to write the equation of a circle that has a diameter with endpoints. Hopefully I pick one that works nice, but if not, we'll be okay. Let's do -1, 2, and -4. -9. That's not going to be a good one. Hang on. Make this a -8, then it'll work out better.
So do we put it in the distance formula?
Okay, good. So if I give you the diameter and it's 2 endpoints, let's sketch a picture. Did I give you the center?
No.
So the first thing I would do if it was me, I would find the center first. We don't know the center, but you should remember from middle school that a diameter goes through the center, right? So this center should be the middle between the 2 points that it gave me for the endpoints of my diameter, okay? So the first thing we have to do is find the center. And then the second thing, I liked what she said, you know the endpoints for the diameter, so I can plug these 2 points into the distance formula and find the distance, but what's going to be the catch here? Because I don't need the distance of the diameter for my circle formula. What do I need?
The radius.
A radius. So when we find the diameter, what are we going to do?
Divide it by 2.
Perfect. So we're going to use the distance formula to find diameter. And then you can divide that by 2. Let me move y'all so y'all can see that. Are you guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. There is a question on your test similar to this, and it does just say write the equation. So if I don't tell you what form, which form is easier to put it in?
General.
General form. Yep. So we can just write this one in general form. So let's just recall all the way back to math 1. You got to think far back. How do I find the center point between 2 points? What is the center point between 2 points called?
Midpoint.
Ooh, who said that? That was good. Midpoint? Who was that so you can get your extra credit?
KJ.
Okay, perfect. So the midpoint, how do you find the midpoint between 2 points? How do you find the middle?
It's like x2 over x2 minus x1 over y2 minus y1, or is it flipped?
So that's rate of change. You're close. So when we're finding the middle of 2 points, we're just averaging them. So you add your x's and then divide them by 2 because there's 2 of them. Then we're going to add our y's and divide them by 2, and that'll be our ordered pair for our center. Okay? So if you do -1 plus -4 divided by 2, and then you do 2 plus -8 divided by 2, what do we get for the center of this circle?
-2.5 and -3.
Perfect. So the center is -2.5. You could also leave it as -5/2. Y'all know I'm okay with that. And -3. So there's my center, which is good because then I know I can plug that into general form. And so now the only other thing we have to do is find the distance and divide it by 2. Now, somebody is going to ask, I just know it, so I'm reading y'all's minds today. Somebody's going to ask, well, now that we know our center, can't I just find the center between one of the given, or the distance between one of the given points in the center? You could. I teach my kids back in Math 1 to never use an answer they found in the next question unless they have to, because what happens if you got this wrong and then you use it down here to find the distance?
Everything is wrong.
Yeah, everything's wrong. So I'm going to use what they gave me just in case, because we all make mistakes, even me. I'm going to use what they gave me, find the distance, and divide it by 2. I'm about to kill this block. All right. So I'm finding the distance between these 2 points. So remember, we're going to do the square root of x2 minus x1 and square it. So x2 is -4 minus x1 is -1, and I'm going to square that. And then I'm going to add it to y2, which is -8, minus y1, and square it. Ew, y'all, the fly just landed in my coffee, and he's swimming. I'm so sad. At least he's dead now. All right. -4 minus -1, what happens? What do I get?
-3.
And -3 squared is?
9.
There we go.
9.
There we go. All right, -8 minus 2?
-10.
-10 squared would be?
100.
100. So my diameter's distance is the square root of 109. To find the radius, you would just divide that by 2. I know these weren't good numbers. It's because I made it up off the top of my head. You should get whole numbers on the practice worksheet, okay? So then to plug that into my circle form, my general form, I'm just going to do x however it shifts squared plus y however it shifts squared, and that'll equal my radius, which was the square root of 109 divided by 2 squared. All right, so if we substitute in our center and we simplify everything, do y'all agree we should get x plus 2.5 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals, and then the square root of 109 squared is just 109, over 2 squared would be 4. This would be your equation for the circle. Are y'all okay with that? Y'all good?
Yeah.
All right.
This might be a really stupid question, but why did you change the bottom to 4?
So when you have a fraction squared, remember from your exponent rules, you have to square the numerator and the denominator.